Well, welcome to this edition of ZoeTV. It's been a little while since we've been taping our show, but we are back into it and ready to go. So a lot has been happening since we last talked to you on this show. And
feels like a long time.
It does feel like it's been a long time. And so we wanted to try and catch you up on some of the things that have been going on, that are getting started again, and just some of the other things regarding COVID on our campus.
Yeah. I think the daily briefings is we've gotten some of the residents back down in the Performance Center and gotten some time with them, right? Like that was the biggest thing everybody was missing, was that just FaceTime with our residents and the residents with residents. And I think this week getting some sense of normalcy back and having the ability to, see our people.
Right.
It's, I think some of the carryover for me has been, we love the updates that Millie's doing at the 9:30.
Thank you.
They love hearing from you in the morning.
You know, I enjoy doing it, and I'm so glad that we started this, because I'm hoping that we can incorporate a lot more into that, really bring a lot of our Zoe Life program into that daily briefing as well, letting you know what's going on campus, when activities start up again, and then keeping you in the know with regards to the COVID-19. It doesn't appear that it's going to go away anytime soon, so we just want to make sure that everybody has the same information.
And I think that's what has been interesting with this COVID and everybody coming out, is best practices and the model of how we do life has changed.
Yes,
I mean, probably for a long time. And so implementing that kind of daily briefing and updates and the transparency of the website you'll get into and all that. I just think that is who we are now.
It is who we are. It's a new era. It really is. And none of us are the same as we were before, and we probably aren't going to be. This is a new normal, and I think that, we are trying to handle it the very, very best that we possibly can. It's new territory. When you have a baby, they don't give you an instruction book, and they haven't given us an instruction book for this as well. So we're trying to put in place the appropriate protocols and procedures so that we have them now going forward, and we can adhere to them. So
I think it's great. So is there anything, if somebody had missed this last week or so's daily updates, is there anything you want to catch them up on, or any of the...
the only thing that I think I would share, most of you are aware of what has been going on in the media. We've had some very positive this week. I think we reached a point where we recognized that we were being bullied for no reason, and that we are trying to be as transparent as possible with everything that's going on, and we're trying to also appreciate families and protect them and loved ones and that type of thing. So I am hoping that going forward, being able to get those numbers out there every day, and giving you the opportunity to ask questions anytime you have them. I hope you know that you can ask those questions, and we're happy to give you the answers to them. But once we were able to get everything out and keep it updated, things started to kind of calm down. So I hope that if you have any questions on anything that you see or hear or read, if you need clarification, please call us, because it appears that everybody has their own interpretation of the media.
Well, and I think what you said is very eloquent, in a sense that the media and the misinformation that is out there is so... It's just overwhelming. With the way that the media can run with the storyline on the industry as a whole. As senior living as a whole, not just Glencroft, but you can watch some of the national coverage of COVID, and it seems like the industry as a whole is just getting shredded out there about best practices and how they're handling and what could you have done better. And you said it early in our show that, we didn't know this was coming. We have obviously so much in place to help, and risk management teams that are in place, but I think everybody in the industry was taken a little bit off guard with it, and trying to come up with a strategy for their individual campuses. So I think being that Glen Cross is the first transparent one in Arizona to put the numbers out is super impressive. And that's what I've heard across the board from
I have too.
Over the walls of family and friends are like, we're so proud that you're working at a place that was willing to do that.
Yes.
And some of the numbers are tough.
Well, and we have nothing to hide. I mean, I think that's the key phrase, is that we have nothing to hide, and we would never do that. We were just trying to, number one, you know, respect the governor's orders, and also not know, you know, which direction we can go in, but recognize that this was the way to go. This was what we needed to do. So.
Well, I think it stopped a lot of the media in their tracks when we
Yes.
put that out, and
I think
it
so
took
too.
a
Yes.
lot of their thunder away from their storyline.
Absolutely.
So, well, that's good stuff. So, I think coming off of what that was, our talking points on what's going on with the COVID, I think we will transition now into the positives. That is. Where we are now, and some of the outcomes of, okay, I know, especially in the independent living segment of this campus, we had to go through that time of stay at home and really hunker down to protect. And we've come out of this on the other side of, okay, we've entered phase one of our approach to, okay, slowly open the doors. I like the way some of the national conversation is, this isn't a light switch of on and off, it's like a dimmer switch. And we're slowly turning up how we are approaching phase one. And so the walking path was the first one to open, and we understand, recognize it's hot out, and we wish we had it open in April, but it just is what it is. And so
we lost our spring.
I know,
you know,
we've all lost our spring.
That's what I mean. I mean, you know, best time of the year here in Arizona, and we lost it.
I know. So the fact that it opened, you know, this week and last week, is the weather was good. We had a run last week. It was amazing, like 80s and low 90s. And the mornings, I've talked to so many residents that are saying, we're hitting the trail at 6 a.m. No matter how hot it's getting, that's still a good time. And they're logging their miles. And I think that's what's exciting for our team in developing strategies to get our residents moving coming out of this. That walking path is critical in that development. In putting different mile markers and trying to make it a game, and getting something for you guys to fill out at home and have this journal and have these little prizes that you accrue along the way. I think that gets everybody motivated, even the heat, to go take advantage of moving your body.
That's right.
And so the university room, which we sit now, is an indoor little walking track. We have it positioned with arrows, and it's just one big box.
37 laps, and it's a mile.
So
19, and it's a half a mile.
So you can keep track, just like you would on north or south, of a 3/4 mile loop, and keep accruing your miles in the heat. You can do it in here, and we have the air conditioner cranking, and we monitor this for safety and cleanliness. So the walking path, being that was the first two to come back, I think is one that's going to keep gaining momentum. So,
yeah, I think so too.
Secondly, we got the pool back.
The pool, and I know a couple of men out there that are very happy that the pool is open again.
Not naming names, but you took a lot of phone calls for why the pool got closed.
Yes, I did. But my favorite is Frank Youngkin and Ron Baker.
Yeah, I know. They love the water.
But I'm glad it's open for all of you. So
we are. But just so everybody realizes, we closed that because we needed the space to have a clean situation for our staff to get ready to go in or out of our skilled
isolation
nursing
areas. Yes.
So I think.
But thankfully, they used another solution.
That's right.
So we were able to get that back.
Yeah.
You know?
So we are clear for takeoff over there, and over the last week, I keep poking our head in as we're cleaning that pool on the hour every hour, and we're being really diligent in our deep clean duties on each and every hour.
And Steve, tell everybody, because I was asked this morning, how long is the pool open? I said that it was open because Gerald told me from 8 to noon, but is that correct?
We've expanded a little bit past that.
Okay.
So we started the conversation of, let's get the Performance Center open 8 to 12, and have the pool kind of match that with our morning, so our ladies at 8 a.m. could have it.
Sure.
But as this week has evolved, we've pushed the envelope because we see the need in the afternoons for our guys especially to to jump in. So we're pretty much going till that 5 o'clock timeline. Our security's doing the rounds and making sure, pre-COVID, that thing was about 8 o'clock at night.
Yes,
they would go and they would turn it off.
Absolutely.
So we're trying to get back to that. The pool's open throughout the day, even into the night.
Right.
And you have the ability to get in there, move. There's no equipment in there. We took away all the pool noodles, all of the weights, all of the hand tools. We just want it to be an environment that is, conducive for them to get in and move. And I think having the optics of we're cleaning it constantly, that we're limiting it. We said 8 was the number. We figured that with as much space as you have in the water, we've been in there a lot with our bigger groups of Parkinson's and had about 14, and we fit nicely. So 8 was a good number. I'm getting asked throughout the last week or so is the jacuzzi if we can. I think they've measured it. They've had tape measures in there, and they said we can fit 3 of us at 6 feet. And we said, okay, we're all adults. Common sense, best practices. We all know the 6 feet. That's like ingrained in us now. 6
everybody.
feet. So that's the same rule of thumb in there, and we're watching it. So we're going through, and if we're not seeing it adhered to, we're having those conversations. But it's the second shoe to drop, and then finally the performance center at the beginning of last week was open for business, and like we said, 8 to 12, same hours that we started kind of the pool, and trying to get a handle on us opening. We don't want to open just with these long hours of operation and then not really have true idea of how many are taking advantage. And so we thought, okay, if we can start 8 to 12 and get a good handle on who's coming down, and we're doing great. We had about an average of 24 in the first week each day. There was only about 2 or 3 times that we had to close the door when we hit our 10 mark, and that includes our staff. So it's been a very well-run, clean operation. Everybody's come down, is adhered to our mask. Not everybody loves working out with the mask on, and I get that. None of us love wearing it.
None of us do, but it's definitely something we're going to have to get used to.
It is. It's part of the new norm, and especially in the environment where you're in somebody's space to a certain extent. We moved the cardio machines out. Everything is 6 feet.
I saw that. It looks great.
It does, and it was already a big enough room that we had the ability to be able to move around in there, but we moved a couple of the bikes, a couple of the stationary cardio pieces around.
Worked well. And thank goodness we have a big room, because that really worked well. So we didn't have to get rid of any.
That's correct. So phase 1, we're navigating our way through. Our second phase, our goal is to begin in the beginning of May. That'll just be a little bit long. Yeah, beginning of June.
We lost so many months.
I know. Beginning of June, and that will be a little bit longer hours of operation. Like I said, when somebody comes to Performance Center now, we're checking them in, we're logging their health screening, we're temperature checking, and that's all important stuff going into phase 1. As we get through that in phase 2, some of that might go away and some might not. This could be the new norm for a while. You hear reports at restaurants of doing the same screenings, the same. And I could see it going forward at airports, and Uber rides, they're all doing it.
That's right.
So, but in any event, it's exciting to get the doors back
open. That feeling of just a little bit of normalcy just feels so good. So.
And I think that Ross and activities is going to be dovetailed in as it has so far, with a lot of it going online, and you can speak to obviously your interaction with the bingo and some of the fun. But I think that element of going virtual is going to remain with us for a big extent, right?
For a while.
I think the feedback that we had, at least on the workout videos, in the Fit and Fab, in the aerobics, in the yoga, in the dance, and what I was putting online, was we loved that. We loved that in our own environment, and we never went to, I heard this so many times, we wouldn't go to the Performance Center because it was a little overwhelming, but to be able to participate a little bit in my own house, that worked for a lot of people.
I think it's great.
So I could see us maintaining that.
I do too, definitely. I think that's been really popular.
So how did you like the bingo? What was some of the...
I was so honored to be able to sit in on bingo for a whole week with Ross, and while Tiffany was out, and it was so much fun. I mean, anything Ross does makes it so enjoyable.
I know.
He's just such an incredible person, and so is Tiffany. And so we laughed and joked, and many of you know, and it was just great. And I know they've kept it now going for another 2 weeks, and it's just been a great addition. You know, not every campus, and I do know this because I've received notices from other campuses, but they don't have the ability to do things remotely. You know, we have such a great audiovisual department, media department, and so we're really blessed here because we're able to do things like that and be more creative and that type of thing.
I think that's a great point. I mean, I'll put on Channel 4 and there's so much new content on there and new shows. And I mean, you got Gabe reading a book, and the next half hour you've got some amazing stuff off some of, you know, content that's all over the map in terms of the virus, the TED Talks, the workouts. I think Channel 4 has evolved and continues to evolve. Into a really cool platform that our residents can not only get real-time information, but be entertained and would on a lot of other channels.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm excited to talk about a new segment that we're going to be introducing today.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited.
I think it's one of those things that coming out of COVID and so getting some positive spin and some new energy about some of the stuff on campus, I think having the ability to bring residents on and talk about their experience here, not only with ZoeLife, but Glencroft as a whole, but what resident inspires them.
Right.
What actual tangible person that's out there inspires their resident to be better.
Right. Sure. Absolutely.
I mean, we all have that. Who, if you had to nominate somebody, who would be your person in your life? Not resident, but like who would
person in my life? Oh, I've always said my mother, and you know, and I know a lot of people say their parents or whatever, but my mother has definitely been the person to inspire me in my life. She's 93 years old, and she's just as sharp as a tack, and she's adorable, and has been through highs and lows, and handles it with grace and dignity. So yeah, I would say that. Who's yours?
I'm gonna say Kelly, my other half, just because I met her when I was. Now you made
me feel bad for not saying Bob.
But I met her when I was 18, so I was just like a kid.
Well, that's true. You guys have known each other forever.
So we've kind of grown up together and had to like. So I think she would be that person. And I'm not just saying that because she might see this ever, but it's probably true. So, but we're lucky today because we're going to get joined by Barbara Lothrop, who is our first one we're bringing on to kick off this show with this segment. And you know, our goal when Barbara comes in is to be able to dive into her, who inspires her on campus, and start this train of, you know, we hope she got inspired by somebody on campus. I think so. And then that person will come on next week and tell us somebody that got inspired. But I want to
tell her how she inspires me too.
I like that.
Yes.
But we think
she probably knows what I'm going to say.
We think this will be a really cool ongoing program where those that get inspired have the ability to come on and say who inspired them. And it's a
resident of inspiration.
Yes.
I love it.
Residents of ROI. Because you know people want return on investment? This is ZoeLife's return on investment.
It definitely
those residents in their area that are inspiring.
Right.
So we have Barbara coming up next.
So we are joined by Barbara Lothrop today. She is going to be our resident of inspiration, and we're going to ask you a couple of questions, Barbara.
Okay.
So, how long have you lived in Glencroft?
About 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
5 years total. Where were you at before that? Thunderbird.
Senior living.
Okay. So you went from Thunderbird Senior Living with all the choices you could have gone to all over the valley. What brought you to Glencroft 5 years ago? What made it easy to make that decision?
Oh, it was faith-based.
Okay.
And I was taking care of a dear woman I used to call my mother, who was 92, and she said, "You're coming with me."
Oh.
So that's why we originally came here.
Oh, interesting. Cool. So I shared earlier that Barbara inspires me because she wears everything on her face. So you can tell that if maybe you've disappointed her, you can tell if you're doing good. So I was doing a new resident orientation, And everybody was sitting in the audience, and I'm giving all this information. And Barbara's looking at me, and everything I'm saying, she's going like this. So then I kept questioning what she is adorable, and I just love watching the expressions on her face.
You always had that? You always had that ability? You can't mask what you're thinking?
I can't get away with anything. No.
That's a good thing sometimes,
My
right?
mother would just
That
look
is
at
a good
me.
thing.
I think it is too, right?
I do, because if you're lying, it's gonna show.
Yeah, I wouldn't even try.
So for 5 years, you've lived at Glencroft. What is some of your favorite things about living here now? Like in 5 years later, you've had 5 years to process and become, this is your home. This is what you know now.
Yes, it is.
What are some of the, even if it's more than one, what are some of the things that you love and you're proud of? If somebody says, why do you love living there? What would you say to them?
Oh, the people. The people are kind. The staff is wonderful. The activities are just ginormous. There's all kinds of things. And now they have the performance center that you have and the lectures I really enjoy. So you put it all together, and the volunteer work I do, and so.
She's talking every pillar.
Yes, she is. I was
Yes.
just thinking the exact
She's
same
basically,
thing.
without being prompted,
Yes.
she went through all
Absolutely.
the pillars.
Spiritual, the emotional, the physical, the social, the intellectual, and the vocational. She's one of our volunteers.
That's pretty cool. So we've come to the moment that we hope will be a ongoing segment for us.
I hope so.
Who inspires you from a resident perspective here on campus?
And why?
Who is your resident of inspiration and why?
Well, I would have to say it's Marlene Christians. I met her at a church Bible study here, and she's always upbeat. She's always smiling. She's so caring. And she has been a godsend to me, really. My dear friend took her life last year, and I was in pieces, and she just came up to me and she said, I will take you anywhere you want to go. I will help you in any way I can. And when I had that vertigo, she was right there, took me to the emergency, sat right with me, takes my dog to the vet. I mean, she's just wonderful.
Wonderful.
She is. I'm so lucky to know her.
Yes.
That is super
Absolutely.
So what are some of the things, I mean, Marlene has inspired you in those ways, but what skill set have you gotten from her that you are trying to live your life better through? What are some things that she's doing, you're saying, I got to incorporate those skills into my life?
I meditate, Bible, and daily devotions every day because of Marlene. We meet at the Community of Faith Church when it's functioning, and we work there. And she has just taught me to be a better person, a stronger woman. Because I lost my mother at a young age, and I guess I just bond with a person like that, and she's wonderful. I love Marlene.
Well, and I get the privilege of kind of seeing them together and interact and have their unique way that they banter and laugh. And I will never forget, we were in the pool because they both want to do some water activities. And this was pre-COVID, and we were in there, and I was running late, and they were giving me grief, and I ran in there, and I jumped in the pool, and they are just splashing each other, and they are laughing, and it was like watching my kids just play and have fun. And I was like, that's what this has to be.
Yes,
this has to be a fun environment where you splash each other and you laugh, but you're in there working on getting better. And I think
we need a lot more of that back.
we do need a lot of that back. So, well, thanks for coming on and kicking us off.
you.
I think
this is
that
fun.
we're going to get some more of these
That's
crazy,
right.
good stories.
And we're going to give you something special to give to Marlene to tell her how much she inspires you.
good.
Yes.
That's nice. Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
What a show!
This was great. And you know, it feels so good being back in this role and doing our show again. And I just love the new Resident of Inspiration. I think that's a wonderful segment that we're going to be adding to the ZoeTV show.
Yeah, I think having a little platform for our residents to come on and just speak on each other and just kind of love on each other and because it's some of those things that that person might know that you think about them, but in a
Right.
public way like this, I think it's just a
Yes.
cool, like,
Way to acknowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
and
Absolutely.
so I'm hoping that, you know, now Marlene will come on and she'll
Yes.
have an amazing person,
We'll give
and
her an
this will just
opportunity.
continue and
Yes.
continue. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a great show. I think talking about what's happening, getting back some of that normalcy, you know, just feeling good and vibrant and excited about what's coming.
I agree. And I think that obviously in the mornings, tuning in to the 9:30 update with you.
Yes.
Those will continue. And obviously our residents love that and love hearing the numbers, and now having the website to
Right.
look at, and family and friends can go to it and see
Yep.
in real time, transparent data that, like we said earlier, nobody
Right.
else is providing.
No,
I think that.
but we'll always make sure you have the information first. So I'm giving those numbers right before the briefing, and then it goes on the
cool.
website. So.
All right.
All
Well,
right. Thank you for joining
we're
us.
excited and we're back in action.
Yes.
And we will see you next week.
All righty.